It was a cold, clear autumn night, October 10th. At a secret location, the fourth Hokage and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki, were fully prepared for the birth of their first child, Naruto. They had no idea that this would be their only child, nor that they would never live to see him grow up. For years, their own son would not even know who his parents were. This was the fate destiny had written for them. The child was born, and the moment he opened his eyes, everyone present in the room was left stunned. Such clear, blue eyes, as if an angel had descended from heaven and taken shelter in this tiny body. Everyone was lost in that sight, and perhaps because of that, the baby's cries felt even more heartbreaking. The child was brought to his mother and laid upon her chest so she could hold him. Minato stepped forward slowly, a faint, almost jealous smile on his face. But then, disaster struck. A shadow from the past appeared. He lifted the child into his arms and issued a cold, unmistakable threat. If his demand was not met, he would kill the baby. From that moment on, everything fell apart. A violent clash erupted, and Kushina was taken away from there. Minato escaped with Naruto. Outside the village limits, in a small cottage, he laid the child down on a bed. The entire birth process had drained every bit of energy from the innocent baby. He was in a deep sleep, completely unaware of the terrifying events unfolding outside his home. People were dying in the village. Minato had to stop it, no matter what. A short while later, another body was brought to the same bed. It was Kushina. She had been rescued, but her condition was extremely critical. Naruto felt none of this. He was still lost in that innocent sleep, utterly unaware of the destruction raging beyond the mountains, and of his parents' condition. "Naruto," Kushina whispered softly, pulling him closer to herself. Even at such a young age, Naruto sensed her unease. A small, innocent thought crossed his mind. She's cold. I'm cold too. Why does she look so sad? Right after birth, through his eyes, Naruto was already able to sense emotions. The truth was, Kushina was dying, and she knew it. She knew she would never see Naruto grow up. She also believed that the people she loved in the village were suffering because of her. At least, that's how it felt to her. In her own eyes, she had failed. As a wife, as a mother, and even as a Jinchuriki, her heart was filled with pain. She blamed herself for forcing Minato to go away, for pushing him into making an impossible choice. She blamed herself for leaving her child behind, right at the very beginning of his life. And above all, blaming herself for failing to stop the nine-tailed beast from being torn out of her, and for being unable to prevent the destruction it unleashed. This emotional turmoil filled her, in a single instant, with two completely opposing desires. She wanted to live for those she loved, and she wanted to die for her shame. All she could do was hold that tiny body close to her chest, the body that had once been a part of her, so she could give him the small comfort she herself had never been given. Silence surrounded them, or perhaps not. From far away came sounds, drums, explosions, the roar of battle. The air was thick with the sharp stench of smoke, blood, and sweat. And as an eerie vibration began to build in the atmosphere, that smell only grew stronger. It felt as though lightning was about to strike, and then it did. A massive explosion tore through the house, blowing it apart. Minato had made an impossibly hard decision. He had teleported the tailed beast back to that very cottage. The house was destroyed. Everything was scattered. Acting on pure maternal instinct, Kushina covered Naruto with her entire body to shield him from the impact as they were hurled through the air and slammed into the ground at a distance. She landed on her back and rolled several times. The first thought that flashed through her mind was only one thing. Is Naruto safe? And yes, he was completely unharmed, but Kushina felt as though at least two of her ribs were broken. The rest of her body was badly injured. Somehow, she placed Naruto in a safe spot and then leapt back into the battle. From all of this, Naruto began crying loudly. Why bring someone into a world so full of chaos? Where was that soft bed? Where was a mother's warmth? All around this child, there was only cold and death. Winter came for him far too early, carried by bitter winds that erased even the little life autumn had left behind. The sounds of battle echoed everywhere. The clash of chains, death racing through the forest, the calls of hand seals, answered by a roar, a scream, and then, on his tiny chest, he felt it, the warm blood of his parents spilling over him. In that very moment, time stopped. Reality granted them a brief mercy. Naruto heard his parents' voices. He couldn't fully understand what they were saying, and he didn't need to. Their hearts were in those words, and that was enough for him. From that alone, he found comfort. But that moment could not last forever. Time began to move again, and suddenly, Naruto felt as if someone had struck him hard in the stomach. A terrifying, ravenous power was forcing its way into his body, a power that wanted to tear him apart from the inside. Yet within his soul, two lights flared, and between them, another small battle began. One light sought to place control of the beast into the child's hands, to hand over the key to the cage of destruction to those tiny fingers. And with that, the world found balance once more. Balance, the state where everything returned to its place. And when it was time to breathe again, it was also time to cry. Beyond the mountains, the screams echoed, mothers without children, children without mothers, the voices of shinobi, soaked in pain. This was what the world had begun to teach Naruto. The moment he left his mother's womb, he was learning life's harshest lesson. And tragically, this was only the beginning. Sometime later, Hiruzen reached the child. He lifted him into his arms, the son of Kushina Uzumaki, and the fourth Hokage, the child of the great Minato Namikaze. He was so weak that he couldn't even tremble in their grasp. He needed help immediately. With that resolve, they took him to the Konoha hospital so he could rest, making a promise to his parents that they would not leave Naruto to die in the streets. And they kept that promise. No more, no less. 9 years passed. With time, Naruto too had grown far more mature. By the age of 9, he had already begun to resemble his original form quite closely. His eyes were deep and wide like the ocean, carrying a strange calm and depth within them. Naruto was studying at the academy, and because of his extraordinary vision, he could easily grasp everything that was taught to him. He was known in his class for his intelligence, and often scored the highest marks without much effort. For him, the only real competition was Sasuke, though Sasuke usually lagged just a little behind. Sasuke challenged Naruto many times, but more often than not, Naruto was the one who won. Naruto was given his own apartment to live in, where he stayed alone. Hiruzen provided him with money every month for food and other necessities. Even so, Naruto managed his life on his own. Occasionally, Hiruzen would come to visit him, bring him games, and spend some time with him. One ordinary afternoon, Naruto was sitting in his apartment when a sharp pain began throbbing behind his eyes. To ease it, he placed a damp cloth over them. He contacted Hiruzen and told him about his condition. Hiruzen assured him that he would come personally to check on him. When Hiruzen arrived at Naruto's apartment, the first thing he asked was what was troubling him. Naruto replied that his head was hurting and his eyes were burning. A warm, wet cloth rested on his face. As Hiruzen was about to sit down, Naruto suddenly said, "Wait." A moment of silence followed. Then he pointed toward the other corner of the room. "Sit on that chair. This one has a broken leg. If an adult sits on it, it'll break." Hiruzen looked closely at the chair. Indeed, it was damaged. "How do you know that?" he asked. Naruto shrugged. "The same way you know things. I can see." Hiruzen looked puzzled. "Wait, you can see me right now?" Naruto nodded. Hiruzen slowly turned his hat around. "If that's true, then tell me, what's wrong with my appearance right now?" "You're wearing your hat backward," Naruto replied instantly. Hiruzen was startled. He adjusted his hat and gently removed the cloth from Naruto's eyes. What he saw made him freeze for a few moments. At first, he thought it might be the Byakugan, but it was nothing like it. He had never seen a dojutsu like this before. So what was it? Perhaps some kind of mutation in his DNA. Hiruzen decided it needed to be examined. Coincidentally, the eye specialist belonged to the Hyuga clan. Genetic tests were conducted. The results were clear. These eyes did not match any known dojutsu, not even the Byakugan. Hiruzen asked if this was the reason Naruto suffered from frequent migraines. The doctor explained that although these eyes did not actively use chakra, the way they perceived every small and large detail put immense strain on them. Then Hiruzen asked, "Can he deactivate this dojutsu?" Naruto shook his head. The doctor thought for a moment. "It's functioning like an always active Byakugan. In my opinion, the best solution is to reduce the strain on his eyes." "And how do we do that?" Hiruzen asked. "These eyes should remain covered for most of the day. It won't harm him," the doctor replied. "We're simply limiting his vision slightly. That's all. We're treating it in reverse. Normally, when eyesight is weak, we give glasses. Here, we're placing something in front of his vision, so the burden on the brain is reduced. Dark lenses, or even a simple cloth covering, will be enough. His ability to read or see won't be negatively affected." And that's exactly what they did. Hiruzen gave Naruto green goggles with completely dark lenses, so he could wear them at all times. After this, Naruto's problem disappeared entirely. Not much time passed before Naruto found himself back at the academy, but this time, something was different. The covering over his eyes immediately drew everyone's attention. The other children found it strange that he was walking around with his eyes covered. They were convinced he must be some kind of idiot. Some of them even tried to bully him, sticking their feet out in front of him so he would trip. But Naruto calmly stepped over their legs and, in an instant, lightly kicked them aside. After that, he quietly returned to his seat and sat down. Naruto knew that if he truly wanted to move forward, he would have to go beyond what the academy taught, and from here, the story took a turn. One day, when Mizuki approached Naruto, His voice was sweet, but something else was hidden in his eyes. Naruto, Mizuki said, there's an ultimate jutsu hidden inside the scroll of seals. A technique meant only for a genius like you. Naruto remained silent. Mizuki continued, if you learn it, no one will ever be able to ignore you again. But Naruto wasn't foolish. Something about Mizuki's words felt off. Why would a chunin reveal such a massive secret so easily? Naruto understood immediately. This man was planning to betray Konoha. That very night, Naruto went straight to Hiruzen and told him everything. Mizuki's words, the scroll, and his suspicions. Hiruzen stayed silent for a few moments, then said, if he truly is a traitor, we'll have to catch him red-handed. A plan was formed. Following Mizuki's plan, Naruto pretended to steal the scroll. And honestly, Naruto wasn't about to miss a chance like this, to read the forbidden scroll. He knew that even a little time would be enough for him to learn several ultimate techniques through sheer talent. For him, this wasn't just curiosity, it was a chance to prove himself. He opened the scroll and began reading the techniques written inside. To better understand the clone technique, he removed his goggles, and truly, he learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu. But that wasn't all. On one page, he discovered two lesser-known chakra natures, light release and dark release. Naruto knew a little about them, but never in such depth. He was deeply fascinated by the idea of using these two chakra natures, because in some form, they exist within every human being. In fact, all other chakra natures are born from these two. Naruto wanted to use the scroll to practice them, but he didn't have much time. Mizuki arrived to take the scroll. He tried to persuade Naruto to hand it over. Naruto saw through him and ran as far as he could, but Mizuki was much faster. Eventually, he caught Naruto where there was no escape. Naruto clutched the scroll tightly to his chest as Mizuki slowly stepped closer. You should have just given me the scroll, Mizuki said. If you had, maybe you wouldn't have had to die. But now, let's say I'm doing Konoha a favor. Mizuki lunged at Naruto. Suddenly, Hiruzen appeared in front of him. That's enough, Mizuki. Mizuki realized his game was over. The scroll was recovered, and Mizuki was sent to prison for his crimes. After Mizuki's arrest, everything in Konoha seemed calm on the surface. But after that night, Naruto's life was never the same. The Hokage classified the Scroll of Seals incident as an S-rank matter. Naruto was told not to speak about that night to anyone. But one thing had changed. Hiruzen now saw Naruto as a dangerously talented shinobi. 3 years passed. Naruto was now 12 years old. Today was the academy's final day. The exams before graduation were nothing more than a formality for him. Easy. Behind the blindfold tied over his eyes were those abnormal eyes, the ones that made him different. Eyes that gave him heightened sensing and understanding, so sharp that even with his eyes covered, he could perceive everything around him. At the academy, he sat near the window. A short while later, the classroom door opened. Hinata Hyuga walked in. Seeing her brought memories flooding back of the time he had saved her from bullies. Her eyes, the mark of the Hyuga clan, frightened many children. Because of that, kids her age bullied her mercilessly. Naruto knew what it felt like to be different. Maybe that was why he understood her. There was something in his heart for her, but he never forced it. He could feel her emotions, and so he let things flow naturally. Suddenly, the classroom fell silent. Attention! It was Iruka, the academy instructor. Today is your final class. Tonight, before receiving your headbands, there will be taijutsu matchups. The classroom erupted in noise. The results didn't really matter. Who would become Genin was already decided. The matches would take place outside on the training grounds. A student asked, how will the matchups be decided? It's already been decided, Iruka replied. Let's move to the ground. A faint smile appeared on Naruto's face. Today, he would finally get the chance to show his strength. Outside, one by one, 13 matches ended. Now it was time for the final, and most important, fight of the day. Iruka's voice rang out. The final match. This year's topper, Uzumaki Naruto, versus the class's third ranker, Uchiha Sasuke. Both stepped onto the ground. Sasuke moved first. In the very next moment, Naruto used the body flicker technique and appeared directly at the center of the field. Uzumaki Naruto is here! Sasuke's jaw tightened. Always showing off. Let's see if you still have that attitude after you lose. Naruto gave a faint smile. He said the same thing before every fight, lost every time, and there was never a next time. Shut up! Sasuke roared in anger. Enough! Iruka interrupted. The match begins. Naruto versus Sasuke. Sasuke attacked head-on. Naruto didn't move even an inch. Every strike, every punch, all of them stopped short, caught within Naruto's invisible limit. After several failed attempts, Sasuke shouted, "What are you, a little kid? Fight properly. Use your full strength." Naruto replied calmly, "You don't have it in you to send me back to my old man." Furious, Sasuke attacked again. The moment he threw a punch, Naruto stepped aside just once. Sasuke lost his balance, and in that instant, Naruto's kick slammed straight into his stomach. Sasuke was launched into the air and crashed far away. Like this, Naruto said coolly. You can't even touch me. Beating me is out of the question. Despite the blindfold, there wasn't a single drop of sweat on Naruto's face. Sasuke was panting heavily. Naruto's attention shifted to the crowd. He searched and found Hinata standing quietly near a tree at the back. He lowered his blindfold just slightly. One eye became visible. He looked at her and winked. Hinata froze. Her face instantly turned red. She lowered her eyes, her cheeks glowing pink with embarrassment. Sasuke charged again. Don't run! This time, Naruto caught him and drove a punch straight into his stomach. Sasuke collapsed to his knees. Before the fight could continue, Iruka stepped in between them. That's enough. Winner, Naruto. After the match, Naruto extended a hand towards Sasuke. You okay? I got carried away. Sorry if it hit too hard. Sasuke grabbed his hand and stood up. Not now, but next time I'll win. Yeah, Naruto replied lightly. You say that every time. A little later, everyone was given their ninja headbands. Iruka announced, from today onward, you are officially shinobi of Konoha. Now, teams will be formed. Each team will have 3 genin. He began reading the list. Team 7, Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke. Team leader, Hatake Kakashi. Team 8, Kiba Inuzuka, Akamaru, Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame. Team leader, Yuhi Kurenai. Team 10, Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, Akimichi Choji. Team leader, Sarutobi Asuma. Sakura was thrilled when she saw her team. On one side, Sasuke, her crush. On the other, Naruto, the most popular student in class. Soon, everyone began leaving with their respective teams. Naruto looked at Sasuke. Looks like we're on the same team. Next time I'll win, Sasuke said coldly. Naruto smiled. Sure, and then the score will be 69-1. 69! Sakura exclaimed in shock. Naruto's gaze drifted across the room. He spotted Hinata sitting alone in a corner. He walked over to her. Hey, Hinata, he said softly. Just seeing him made her flustered. I'm fine, she said quietly. Congratulations on becoming a shinobi, Naruto said. You too, Hinata replied, lowering her head. Just then, Kurenai arrived and took Team 8 with her. Naruto said goodbye to Hinata and returned to his team. Gradually, all the teams left with their sensei. Only Team 7 remained. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. After a while, the door opened. A tall, fit man walked in. Silver, spiky hair, one eye covered by a mask. I'm Hatake Kakashi, he said casually. Your instructor. Wow, Naruto said sarcastically. What perfect timing. Guess I'll have to learn discipline, dignity, and manners too. Sakura nodded silently in agreement. Kakashi ignored it. Let's go to the rooftop. We'll do introductions there. A short while later, all 3 sat on the rooftop, while Kakashi stood in front of them. All right, I'll start, he said. My name is Hatake Kakashi. I don't feel like sharing my hobbies. Never really thought about my dreams. Likes and dislikes, none of your business. So, you basically just told us your name, Naruto said. Then Naruto introduced himself. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I'm one of the last survivors of my clan. My dream is to become the strongest shinobi and rebuild my clan. He said it with a confident smile. Sasuke and Sakura followed with simple introductions of their own. After that, Kakashi told them about a test scheduled for the next day and handed each of them a paper with all the details. Be here in the morning, he said, and don't eat anything beforehand. See you tomorrow. With that, Kakashi left. As Naruto read the paper, a sly smile formed on his face. So this is their plan. They really think they can fool me. Sasuke looked at him questioningly. Naruto gestured for him to wait. I figured something out. I'll tell you tomorrow. Sasuke nodded, understanding. Sakura nodded too, though she didn't really understand what they were talking about. After saying goodbye, the 3 went their separate ways. Once the introductions with his new team were over, Naruto headed straight to Ichiraku Ramen. After eating, he headed back to his apartment. The day had been long and exhausting, but the thought of getting a new team and finally becoming a ninja lightened his mood. Once home, he quickly took a shower and went to bed. He felt a quiet excitement about the test scheduled for the next day. After such a tiring day, it didn't take long for sleep to claim him. The next morning, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura arrived at the training ground right on time, just as they had been instructed. But when they got there, they realized their sensei hadn't arrived yet. Late again. Clearly, this isn't Kakashi-sensei's fault. It's the writers, Naruto muttered with mild irritation. Guess we'll have to adjust. After quite a while, honestly, after a few hours, Kakashi finally showed up. Hey guys, good morning. Sensei, you're late again, Sakura snapped immediately. Was busy helping someone, Kakashi replied casually. Anyway, let's get to the main point, the test. It'll end before lunch, and anyone who fails won't get lunch. Sakura immediately understood. So that's why you told us not to eat breakfast. Your task is simple, Kakashi said. holding up 2 silver bells. "Take these bells from me. If you can't, you go back to the academy." "But there are 3 of us and only 2 bells," Sakura said, confused. "Exactly," Kakashi replied calmly. "One of you won't get a bell. Only 2 of you will pass. At most, whoever doesn't get one goes back to the academy." His tone remained relaxed as he explained the rules. But tension filled the air among the 3 genin. Even Sasuke felt nervous, though it didn't show on his face. For Sakura, it was even worse. After working so hard to graduate, the thought of returning to the academy troubled her deeply. Naruto looked at both of them and gave a faint, reassuring smile. The mood lightened slightly. "The test begins now."